Apparently my rush of productivity continues. I'm Michelle, this is my romantic tangle, and I've got a lot done since my last update. Let's start with breakfast. This is the Riolis Kit, and since last time I have added the eggs and the onion and another tomato up here. I love the shading of this one. It has been a lot of fun, and I am in the mood lately where I pick things up to stitch, and I have a hard time putting them down. I could just keep stitching and stitching, except the clock keeps ticking and I have to break away from it to do other things. I wanted to do something pink, something a little bit Valentine's Day. I had some bigger projects in mind, but time got away from me and that didn't happen. And then I saw Love Grows Here on Pinker Pumpkin Quilting. It's not a salt box, but I love the stone foundation and the steps. I started this, I think, 2 days ago. It has been driving me batty because this pink and this pink are not the same color. They're close, but not the same. I think it's showing on the camera. I can't see it when I am working on it. I struggled with it like crazy. And I even pulled out my DMC chart to make sure that I had the right threads. And I have the right threads. It is just so subtle, I am not getting it. And I'm also working on Cuckoo Clock. I filled in the little door down here and just a bunch of stuff and most of the center of the clock. From here down, I think I told you this last time, is some scroll work and then the weights. So the bulk of it is done. This is going to be finished this year. And so is breakfast, and so is the new little pink house, and I am just delighted with that. The blue shawl that I showed you last time has been finished, and I met with our quilting group on yesterday, so that was donated. I have since then started a pink one. I know I call these prayer shawls now and then. They are not prayer shawls because apparently the consensus is that you can't knit prayer shawls while watching Amity in Space and Toxic Shark. So let's call them comfort shawls. And I will try to remember to do that. And you know, my intentions are good. I am putting a lot of positive energy into these. I am not representing them as something they are not, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. I got to go to quilt group yesterday. This is the first time in I don't know how long that I have had the opportunity to go meet up with them in person. Mom gets there a lot more often than I do because she lives closer, and I can always send contributions in with her, but I got to go this time. Problem is, Friday was one of those days. I had to hit the ground running at 5 a.m. and did not get to stop until 10 p.m. I have a couple days a month like that, and they're commitments that cannot be bounced to other days to make it easier, so I just slog through, and it works. And in the end, it's worth it, but I woke up Saturday morning, and my body did not want to move. To clarify, I was not sick. I was just very, very tired. And I thought I might regret it if I didn't go, but I really didn't want to go. So I had my oldest son put my sewing machine in the back of the car about an hour before I was due to leave. And I figured if I don't go, I can just have him bring it back in the house. I got in the car. I drove the hour up there. I was still feeling remarkably unenthusiastic. I stopped at Dutch Brothers and got myself a 911, which, if you're not familiar, has 6 shots of espresso in it. By the time I got into the fabric room, I was feeling better about things. And I picked out 3 different cuts of fabric, and I decided I was going to do the most basic, let the fabric do all the work quilt blocks, and 3 hours later I had a quilt top. So I am so tickled that I made a quilt top. It's a pretty cute little quilt top, and I don't have the fabric with me. The quilt top is a mom's with the long arm. I was not doing super careful math. I was winging it. I had this much fabric left of the focus fabric when I was done cutting. It was literally 3 inches to spare. I used every last bit and made a pretty darn cute quilt, and lifted my spirits, was a good use of the fabric, and we even found some cute backing. I'll stick a picture in here if I remember to. This morning I did a YouTube short about what happens when you leave tape on the edges of your needlework for a really long time, because when we were sorting through the other needleworker's stash, some of her canvases had been taped, what I assume is a very, very long time ago, because the tape had lost all of its adhesive. It was all dried out and crunchy and pretty unpleasant. It can be salvaged. It did not destroy the projects by any stretch of the imagination, but I figured it would be a good example to show what tape does over time, because we don't frequently get to sometimes look at things after they've sat for what I imagine might have been 20 years or more. And I immediately got a comment telling me that not everyone has a sewing machine and I should have recommended Fray Check. I have never used Fray Check on cross stitch. I have used it years ago for something else. I can't remember what, and I'm just not a fan. I don't want to put extra chemicals on my stitching. I don't want to wait for it to dry, and I have a sewing machine. So I never claim that I give you all of the options. I tell you what I do and why I do it, and sometimes my reasons for why I do what I do may be strange. I go with whims on some projects, and I think that's fine as long as I own up to it. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. I am going to go work some more on my pink house and get some knitting done, and hopefully we can find a good scary movie to watch tonight. I've got some more videos scheduled for you, and I'll see you again soon.